Kings and Queens, Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Trust you and yours are well. So today I want us to talk about the power of salt. Yes, this very substance that is always in your home, in your kitchen, and you think is only meant to give taste to the food that we all eat, but it goes beyond that. This is a substance that have been existing as old as man. And when you look at all the religions around the world, you check their holy books, you discover that there is something about this very substance that is in every holy books in all the religions around the world. The power of this very substance called salt. Okay? Our ancestors knew the power of salt and they utilized it for their daily living, not just to give taste to their food, but to do a whole lot of other things, Your Majesties. So today I want us to delve into the power of salt, okay? When you check the Christian Bible, you discover that this very substance was what Elijah used to purify the water when it was causing miscarriages for those who take it, and it causes sicknesses. This was a substance that he was told to put into the river, and it purifies the river. So one of the major significance of salt is purification, both spiritually and physically. And that is why when you put a pinch of salt, maybe you see a worm and you put a pinch of salt on the worm, you see that it dissolves the worm immediately. This is a very powerful substance. So it does not only purify physically, it purifies spiritually. Your Majesties. Salt is a valuable item not just in the home for food and other domestic purposes, but unbelievably valuable in spiritual matters, particularly in prayers. And that is why you discover that a lot of people who are into the spiritual works will tell you, okay, you need to do a salt bath or maybe have a salt bath to purify yourself to ward of evil eye, evil omen. You need a spiritual salt bath. A lot of people does that. If you want me to do a video about that, you let me know as well. It is very significant in a lot of people's life that have delved into it. Many individuals and spiritual leaders recognizes its potency in prayers. Salt was mentioned in various scriptures in all religions around the world. In the Christian Bible, both the Old Testament and the New Testament. Your Majesties. It absorbs energy holding a charge of intention. Since it absorbs energy, you can use it to absorb negative energy and cleanse magical tools. And that's why I say it's used for purification as well. Okay. Salt symbolizes purity and holiness. For this reason, the Supreme Being commands that salt is added to burnt offerings on the altar. As you can see, I always sprinkle salt in every corner of my home to ward off evil energy. Like I said, what I bring to you here are things that are tested by me and are trusted as well. You can ask anybody who is into spiritual works the power of salt, and that person will tell you that this is something you should never play with. When you suspect that there is any spiritual activity, maybe a funny spiritual activity around your home, a funny spiritual activity in your compound, in your vicinity, the first thing your mind should go to is the salt. Use the salt, sprinkle it around your house, put it at the four corners of your house in a strategic point. You sprinkle it there. Your Majesties, have you ever had this experience where some people come to your house and some of them do not want to enter? Like maybe you have a group of people coming to visit you, and then maybe one or two persons want to stay outside. No, they don't want to enter. Salt can break charms. There are people that move around, they don't just move around, they have something in them. When you have salt as part of what you use as a barrier around your house, when they come into your vicinity, they wouldn't want to They wouldn't want to cross the border. To them, there is a barrier that they are seeing. That barrier is preventing them because of what they have in their body. So you are saving yourself and saving your family by just doing this simple activity, Your Majesties. Alright, let's look into some history about salt. I wouldn't want this video to be too long at all, Your Majesties. As far back as 6050 BC, salt has been an important and integral part of the world's history as it has been interwoven into countless civilizations. Used as a part of Egyptian religious offerings, and not just Egyptian religious offerings, all religions around the world have a particular part they have dedicated to salt that no other substance can take away. Okay? And valuable trade between the Phoenicians and their Mediterranean empire. Salt and history have been inextricably intertwined for millennia, with great importance placed on salt by different cultures. Even today, the history of salt touches our daily lives. The word salary was derived from the word salt. Okay, salt was highly valued and its production was largely restricted in ancient times, so it was historically used as a method of trade and currency. The word salad also originated from salt and began with the early Romans salting their leafy greens and vegetables. Undeniably, the history of salt is both broad and unique, leaving its indelible mark in cultures across the globe. Most people probably think of salt as simply the white granular seasoning found in salt shakers or virtually every dining table. It is that, surely, but it is for more. It is an essential element in the diet of not only humans but of animals and even of many plants. It is one of the most effective and most widely used of all food preservatives. Its industrial and other uses are almost without number. Salt has great current interest as the subject of humorous cartoons, poetry, and film making, Your Majesties. Now, when you look into salt was in general used long before the beginning of recorded history, and that is why I said salt is as old as man. And dating back to around 2700 BC, the earliest known treatise on pharmacology was published in China. A major portion of this writing is devoted to a discussion of more than 40 kinds of salts, including descriptions of two methods of salt extraction that are similar to processes used today. Salt has played a vital part in religious rituals in many centuries, symbolizing purity. There are more than 30 references to salt in the Christian Bible, including the well-known expression, salt of the earth. Additionally, there are many other literary and religious references to salt, including the use of salt on altars for burnt offering, representing purity, and the use of holy salt by the Unification Church. Salt also had a military significance. For instance, it is recorded that thousands of Napoleon's troops died during his retreat from Moscow because their wound would not heal due to the lack of salt. Salt has long held an important place in religion and culture. Greek worshippers consecrated salt in their rituals. Jewish temple offerings included salt. On the Sabbath, people of the Jewish faith still dip their bread in salt as a remembrance of those sacrifices in the Old Testament. Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt. Covenants in both the Old and the New Testament were often sealed with salt, the origin of the word salvation. Okay, in the Catholic Church, salt is or has been used in a variety of purification rituals. In fact, until Vatican II, a small taste of salt was placed on a baby's lip at his or her baptism. Yeshua called his disciples the salt of the earth. In Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting, The Last Supper, Judas has just spilled a bowl of salt, which is known as a portent of evil and bad luck. To this day, the tradition endures that when people spill salt, they should throw a pinch over their left shoulder to ward off any devils that may be lurking behind. In Buddhist tradition, salt repels evil spirits, which is why it is customary to throw salt over your shoulder before entering your house after a funeral. It kills off any evil spirits that may be clinging to your back. Shinto religion also uses salt to purify an area before sumo wrestlers enter the ring for a match, which is actually an elaborate Shinto rite. A handful of salt is thrown into the center to drive off malevolent spirits. Today, a gift of salt endures in India as a potent symbol of good luck and a reference to Mahatma Gandhi's liberation of India. So this is where we will stop for today, Your Majesties. I'm going to see you in my next one. I hope you picked one or two from this episode. So until then, stay safe. Bye.